Hello, everyone, and welcome to 10 Features Every Client Should Use. I'm Shannon Turner, a software developer at ActionKit. Let's get right into it. So these are the 10 features that you should use to get the most out of ActionKit. And I have to say that it was really tough to narrow this down to only 10 features. There's so much that you can do with ActionKit. But in putting together this presentation, I tried to narrow it down to just what were the top 10 things that I found useful as a client across a wide variety of areas. I wanted to cover things that you can do super quickly right now to improve your workflow, and as well as a few aspirational things that may take a little longer but are so worth it. Let's get started with number one, mailing models. When I was a client, we had some pretty complicated targeting that we did on a daily basis, but the targeting was largely the same based on the type of mailing that it was. For example, test emails had one type of targeting, full send emails had a different kind of targeting, fundraisers had their own targeting. You get the idea. Where mailing models really shine is in setting up that targeting. In this example, I have 3 models set up. One is for my test mailings and is targeted to 25,000 people already. I set up my complicated targeting rules, and now I don't have to think about it. I just create my draft from model. Another is for my full send mailings and is targeted to that full list, about 291,000 people. And then I've got a mailing targeted to my donors as well, about 39,000 people. You can, of course, change the targeting and anything else from here, but using models is a great way to have this be a starting point. Another thing mailing models are great for is if you have multiple layouts or mailing wrappers that you use or different audiences. Here I have 3 different types of mailings. One is a general purpose ActionKit email, another one is specific for release notes, and a third is just for ClientCon. And here's what those 3 mailing starters look like on the model screen. And I can also customize the targeting for these. Creating mailing models is a snap. On the Compose screen under Advanced Options, check the box that says Is Model. Notice the help text here. Model mailings can't be sent, but once you copy from a model, your new mailing is no longer a model and can be sent normally. Number 2 is page models. Now, this is pretty similar to the mailings that we just discussed. So if you have a specific type of page that you often copy from in order to make a new updated version, you might want to use page models to accomplish the same task. And this is especially useful for pages where you have a lot of boilerplate or setup. To add a page as a model, check the Is Model checkbox at the bottom of the Action Basics screen of your page under Advanced Options. So here in this screenshot, I have 2 models, one for a report back page and another for a video share page. These aren't standard ActionKit page types. I've customized them extensively with things like the confirmation email, donation page settings, etc. These page types are great candidates for page models since I needed to do so much customization in order to make them happen. But now that I've created them, I can copy from these models or click Page from Model, Report Back Model to begin creating a new page of that type. Number 3 is two-factor authentication. Bottom line, you care about your members' privacy and they trust you to protect their data, so safeguard their information by using two-factor authentication. It's quick to set up and easy to use. The important thing to know about this is even if someone got your password, they still wouldn't be able to log into your ActionKit account if you have two-factor authentication set up. The way it works is after you enter your password, you're prompted for a code that gets delivered by text message or app. Now you can set this up for your account individually, and you can also require everyone to set it up and use it. And let me just underline this. This is one of the most important ways that you can protect your users' data. This is what it looks like. After I enter in my password, I take a look at my phone, and here's the token that I get. In ActionKit, I enter that token and I tell ActionKit to remember me for the next 30 days. Number 4 is staff announcements. This lets you make announcements that go to the top of the screen for all staff who are using ActionKit. This is a great way to remind staff of new policies or targeting or workflows. And best of all, the announcements stick to the top of every page in ActionKit. This is super useful because this is right where you'd need to see it. Luckily, creating staff announcements is just as easy as it's super easy. Just entering your title, your message, how severe the announcement should be. So things like info or warning or danger, and then an optional URL. Notice the big bright red warning at the top of my ActionKit screen? Of course you do. It'll appear at the top of every ActionKit page that I'm visiting until I click the X in the corner to make it go away. This makes it great for reminders of new policies, workflows, queries, etc. You can use staff announcements to help give reminders on things like, hey, do you still need to set up two-factor authentication? It's quick and easy. Here's how to do it. And here's the link that you need. Number 5 is your progress. Did you know that you can customize this Your Progress dashboard that appears on the ActionKit home screen? Well, now you know. And here are some cool ideas of things that you could do with this once you've customized it. Here I've put the documentation and database reference, frequently asked questions, and a set of tutorials on the homepage. If you have specific onboarding or training materials that you give to new staff to help them get acclimated to ActionKit, you can also put them here. Maybe you want to be able to look at today's drafts at a glance with just the main information that you need. In this example, I've also made the mailing IDs links so that I can go straight to that mailing. Or maybe you just want to see today's sent mailings. It's up to you. Here's my last example. I have a count of members who have not received an email today. You have so many options, though, for customizing the homepage dashboard. You could include things like staff trainings, helpful links, mailing calendars, stats about event recruitment, really anything you want. Super flexible. As you can see, the Your Progress dashboard is just a dashboard report behind the scenes. And dashboards combine HTML with the results of other reports. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you a link that has a full blog post outlining how to customize this specific report. Number 6 is custom page fields. And here are some super common examples of things that you could do with the custom page fields, but really the sky's the limit. Custom page fields allow you to make big and small changes to your pages without mucking about in the code. On the Pages tab under Other is where you'll find custom page fields. Here I'm setting up a new custom page field that will allow me to change the text of the Submit button on the page. Now, I should mention that setting up custom page fields requires a one-time update to your template sets. Don't worry about the code on this slide. You're not meant to read it all and digest it now. Remember that you'll be getting these slides and that this is just for illustration purposes. But what I wanted to highlight here is that I'm changing a few lines of code in my template set. I'm saying instead of always having the Submit button say the word sign, I'm going to have it say the contents of my custom page field, Submit button text. So here's what my petition page looks like without any custom page fields. And then here I'm going to add in a few custom page fields on the Action Basics screen of my page. I have the Submit button text custom page field that I just created, and I'm setting the button's text to be Send a Message to Congress. I also have a custom page field that I already made called custom CSS, and this allows me to change the styling of a page however I like. Here, I'm changing the background color of the header to green. And as you can see, the header is now green, and the button text now says, send a message to Congress instead of sign. Custom page fields are really powerful tools that allow you to customize your pages however you like. Number 7 is A/B testing with design. And I should emphasize here, you might want to test something as small as the color of your submit button or as large as an entirely different page layout. It's up to you. But the questions that I like to ask when I'm thinking about A/B testing are, before you commit to any kind of redesign, what can you adjust in order to improve your page's action rates? And testing that original design against the redesign before you actually roll it out completely, and see which one performs better, or figure out what can I do to improve and optimize my action rates. Now, you can A/B test with design, but you can also A/B test with content. So what you test is up to you. Now, when I was on the client side, some of the things that I tested for content were 2 different featured images, different titles, different messaging, or even different framing, like having an optimistic frame or a pessimistic frame. Now, once your test has been running for a little while, you'll start to see results. And in this example, I have 2 versions with a higher action rate and 1 version with a really, really low action rate. You can do the same for donation pages. Here I can see that my first version actually pulled in the most money, even though the second version had slightly more donations. Again, my third version was not very high performing. So A/B testing can show you ways that you can optimize your pages to bring in the most money or generate the most actions. Number 8 is CloudFront. And on the subject of A/B testing, if you had 2 nearly identical pages, but one had 11% better conversions, we're talking about actions and donations here, you'd pick the better performing one, right? Of course. But it turns out that the only difference between these 2 nearly identical pages is that one loads pretty fast and the other one loads kind of slow by comparison. I'm not going to linger too much on this one because there's a separate presentation just about setting up CloudFront, but you should be doing everything possible to improve how fast your web pages load, because it makes a huge difference in terms of conversions. CloudFront isn't the be-all, end-all of making your pages load quickly. It's just one piece, but it's an important one. And best of all, it's quick and easy to set up. Number 9 is customizing the pre-flight dashboard. So let's get a show of hands here. Has anyone ever made a targeting mistake or forget to tag a mailing, or have you ever missed a step in final checking your mailing? Or are you like me, do you get nervous before you click send? Now, what if I told you that you could have a system that would double check your targeting for common targeting mistakes, it would check your page and mailing for missing tags, and remind you of the whole process that you need to do in order to send your mailing. And all of this was right above the send button, right where you need it. So here's an example I have set up where I've created a checklist of all of the things that I need to do before I click send. Everything from drafting, determining my targeting, getting proofs, clicking links, all the way until I click send. This is how pilots and doctors make sure that they don't make mistakes during surgery and flight, is they have checklists. So having a checklist here seems simple, but could actually really help reduce any mistakes that you make in a mailing. Let's see how we set it up though. Now, like before, this is just a dashboard report in ActionKit called Draft Dash. Zooming in a bit, we can see that this dashboard is made up of HTML code and refers to existing reports. This is the same process for how you'd customize the Your Progress dashboard. And at the end of this presentation, I'll give you a link with 2 blog posts about how I customized each of those reports step by step so you can do it too. And 2 years ago, I gave a demo at ClientCon about this as well. Back then, I was on the client side, and my dashboard had all kinds of bells and whistles and checks. Here you can see lots of automated checks specifically around tags. ActionKit has lots of built-in protections against spam bots, and that's what number 10 is all about, suppressing spam actions. So most clients use the defaults, and that's totally fine. But I wanted to point out that there's 2 settings that you can set. One to suppress suspected spam actions, and another that will unsubscribe suspected spam bots automatically. If you haven't looked at it in a while, you'll want to review your spam check settings on the configuration page. Here, I'm not automatically suppressing suspected spam actions, and I'm not automatically unsubscribing suspected spam users. Read the help text on this page because it's super informative. Periodically, you'll want to review the spam check log from the Pages tab, go to Other, and then Spam check log. If you're suppressing actions and unsubscribing, you'll want to check to see, were there any false positives that got flagged as spam but shouldn't? Because you can mark those as not spam. But if you are not suppressing actions and you're not unsubscribing, you'll want to check to see, are there any actions in here that should be suppressed? And it looks like this comment by Tessa telling me to buy spam today is spammy. So I'm going to suppress that action and unsubscribe her. Now, if you do these 10 things, then next year I'm going to put together another list of 10 features. And I know that this is a pretty quick overview of everything, so I collected a series of resources that we have on how to set up all of these things. Thanks, everyone.